or strategies expressed on WLAF TV 12 do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, ownership, or advertisers of WLAF TV 12, 1450 WLAF Radio, FM 100.9, or 1450WLAF.com.
When every second counts, count on VitalCare MedTrans. You do have a choice when it comes to ambulance service in this area. So when you call 911, ask for the best.
Wait a minute, are you VitalCare?
Yes, we are.
Good.
State-of-the-art equipment and a well-trained staff who stand ready to respond to your call. That's VitalCare MedTrans, when nothing but the best will do.
All right, folks, I'm Jerry Chapel, Straight Talk Live for the next 58, 59 minutes. I got my sidekick here with me. We'll get to that in just a minute. VitalCare. I want to make a point about VitalCare tonight. I went to the County Commission meeting Monday night. I've been to a few of these budget meetings, as Mr. Slusher has also. I've noticed the Campbell County Ambulance Service down there trying to get the County Commission to pass a 5-cent tax increase to make up for a shortfall in their budget. Okay? Well, you know, Mr. Bond has been running the ambulance services for a long time, used to run the county's ambulance service, but now he runs a private business down in VitalCare. Mr. Bond, I haven't noticed him down there, Jim, asking for a 5-cent tax increase to help on his business. I've noticed Mr. Bond just, you know, he keeps going business, keeps customer service, keeps going along. Let me turn this fan down, Jim. It might be too loud. I meant to turn that down. So, Mr. Bond just keeps doing business, keeps going along, providing great service for his clients. You know, he ain't been down there asking for a 5-cent tax increase to help his business. So if you need a service that's going to take care of you, take care of your needs, and do it professionally and do you a good job, when you call 911, ask for VitalCare. That's all you have to do. Just ask for VitalCare, and they'll send VitalCare your way, and you'll get the best of ambulance service that you could possibly get, in my opinion. And like I said, they're not down there asking the county for a tax increase to help them fund their business. They take care of business the smart way, they do it right, and they do a good job. So give VitalCare a call.
Yeah, and I tell you, Jerry, they have another burden that the county ambulance service does not have, and that is that they are required to pay taxes
Right.
on all of their equipment, their personal
Right.
property. As you know, there's business tax on personal property. They pay it on all their vehicles. They have to pay their own insurances and everything that generally are provided to our service. So, you know, they can come out from under it. It's like TVA can outcompete many utilities because they're not taxed.
Yeah.
They're exempt from federal taxes.
Mr. Bond pays his taxes, and they run business, and they still do a good service for you. Let's see what we've got somebody calling already, Jim. You're on the air. You're on the air.
I'll be on the air with it.
Huh? I don't know what that was. I think she was meaning to call the other line, so sorry about that. So, my sidekick, Mr. Slusher here, and I went to the county commission meeting Monday night. It was mainly about trying to set a tax rate. It was quite a circus, wasn't it, Jim? I've never seen anything quite like it.
You know, our mayor has, he practices what he preached. He said he was going to allow citizen participation, good, bad, or indifferent. And the citizens pretty much have the same recognition as the county commissioners.
The citizens were allowed plenty of time to voice their opinions.
Several were allowed to speak numerous times. I was allowed to speak once, and
Then
a
you
couple of times I
just butted your way in there?
Well, yeah, I went by proxy, you know.
Proxy. No such thing as proxy, folks.
Jerry, there is.
There's no such thing.
Well, you wanna argue that you can't fire a county commissioner?
I'll tell you one thing, okay? Part of the meeting was the county commission meeting, and then part of the meeting was the Jim Slusher meeting. I mean, if you saw this thing and you watched it, Jim, I swear, he took over a good portion of the meeting, and he kept stressing the point, no taxes, no taxes.
Yeah, you know, taxing Marie Ayers of Family Realty kept pushing, well, when she saw she wasn't getting anywhere with the property tax, started pushing the sales tax, half-cent sales tax. What she doesn't realize is, I don't know, Marie's clueless generally, but what she doesn't realize is that the citizens here don't want to pay any more taxes. That's it, Marie. Get a grip. It's easy to do. Just say, you mean you don't want any more taxes? That's right, Marie. She's earned that title, Taxing Marie. And Family Realty. You know, that's kind of an oxymoron. Why would someone in the real estate business that makes their living bringing people into this county want higher property taxes? And you know, she's pushed those for years. And she's also pushed the sales tax. It kind of baffles me. It just doesn't put two and two together. You don't see Hack Ayers out pushing for property taxes. He wants to keep his low because I would imagine Hack owns a fair share of Campbell County.
I'd say he owns a good portion of it.
And you've got the Lindsays and the various families in Campbell County that are major landholders. And I don't see where it's her advantage to have their property taxes raised. Maybe Marie's trying to get another road built to her, another piece of property she owns. You know, she got 3 roads into her property. We've been pushing in my neighborhood for over 10 years just to get some tar and gravel put down. They won't do that, but she gets 3 roads all of a sudden when she's a county commissioner. So I guess it pays to have weight, right?
Now, I want to do a cautionary statement here. The statements and opinions of the guest of this show are not necessarily the statements and opinions of the host of the show itself, and the station.
And my opinion is my opinion, and if it's not mine, it's Jerry's.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take Marie's side just a little bit, Jim, so we
Go
can
right
have,
ahead.
so we can
Go
have
right
us a
ahead.
discussion here, okay? So we can have a good discussion. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I haven't talked to Marie, I don't know. But I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna think that Marie, in her way of thinking, sees, and this is the only thing I can think of, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
This is the only thing, Marie's looking at it and thinking, we have no other way in Campbell County to move forward. I don't know if that's what she's thinking or not, but I can look at it and kind of deduct from my deduction that that's what she's thinking. We just don't have any other way to move this county forward other than to raise taxes a little bit, make an investment in the county. I don't know if that's what she's talking about or not.
25%'s a little bit?
Well, the mayor, excuse me, the mayor kind of shut that down a little bit, because what happened, folks, and if any of you heard me call Ariel's show, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. If any of you heard me call Ariel's show, probably in the late in the 9 o'clock, 9 to 9:30 portion of his show, I called all the county commissioners cowards. Okay? They were every one of them. There was a large crowd there. And pretty much every one of them got up and gave their opinion about the taxes, didn't they, Jim? You know, and there was a large crowd there, and those county commissioners, when it came time to make a motion on the tax rate, whether it was to leave it the same, raise it just a little bit, raise it a medium a bit, or raise it the full amount, not a single one of them, even ones that's been there 15 years and better, 10 years, 12 years, 15, not a one of them had the guts, or I'm gonna say this, the integrity about their position to make a motion on the tax rate. They sat there, there were some of them new ones, and I can specifically look at one. He sat there like a deer in headlights. He was scared for his life. There was one I can look at and tell you, he was scared. I'm thinking, this guy is scared for his life tonight. You know, they were so intimidated by that crowd that not a one of them even made any kind of motion, okay? So the mayor, who was in the position that he was going, it's called a county commission meeting, he was gonna let them do their job. And since they didn't do their job, he stepped up and took a little leadership, didn't he?
Well,
Whether you like what he did or not, he stepped up and took a little leadership, did he not?
well, he defended his new position.
Okay.
And
Well, we're gonna get to that in a minute, because I'm 100% against his
But now-
choice for this industrial
Jerry,
recruit.
it's time for you to break. I get something to say.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to explain what
See,
happened at the meeting.
Jerry views them as cowards. I view them as people that have opened their eyes and they realize, and they're a good mind. I like everybody on that.
I do too.
There's not a one.
There's not a one of them I dislike.
Even Taxon Marie.
Yeah.
She's a decent person. She just got her priorities messed up. You know, she came from poor just like all the rest of us. It was
Yeah.
a 4-letter word to me.
Yeah,
But I saw the mayor, you know, I had quizzed him several meetings, and I'm gonna quiz him again.
yeah,
Where do you stand on this budget, Mr. Mayor?
right.
And he's kinda tried to play Slick Willie, and he's not very good at it, and worm out of it,
But no, he ended up giving his opinion.
but he didn't say he supported the budget, but the
He
thing
didn't.
is,
No, he didn't.
in the meeting, he took full control of the budgetary process. He snatched it from Johnny Bruce, and Johnny, I think, was glad for him to do it, but he has taken control of the budget. He took it away from the budget and finance group and took control of it and started telling what all to put in the budget. He even got into the road department.
He gave what the mayor did was, when nobody would make a motion, tell me if I'm wrong,
You're
when nobody would make a motion on any kind of tax rate whatsoever, and he gave them, what, 3, 4, 5 different opportunities to do it?
Right.
Sat there and said, I need a motion, folks, I need a motion, over and over. And when they didn't do that, the mayor broke out his sheet of paper. I see you, caller, but we'll get to you in a few minutes, okay? When the mayor he pulled out his sheet of paper and he gave a breakdown of what he thought would be his opinion of what he thought would be a good situation for Campbell County. It included, what, about a 24, 25-cent tax increase as opposed to a 48. He sat there and broke it down. He took leadership. He explained it. He owned it, like you asked him to do. He owned it and said, this is what I think we should do, okay? Now, he got off on who he wants to be his industrial recruiter, okay? Fact that he wants Andy Wallace to be his industrial recruiter.
I thought that's what he was hired for to begin
I
with.
thought, the mayor told everybody, that's why he hired Andy in his office, was to be the industrial recruiter. Now the mayor's saying he wants to create an industrial recruiter's position, send Andy Wallace off into some other building, pay him $60,000, plus give him a little budget, and then hire him another deputy mayor in his office, okay? Folks, I think the world of Andy Wallace. I think he's one of the best people in the world, but he is not, this is my opinion, the right person for that job. I don't think in Campbell County, we don't have time to be taking somebody fresh and new, sending them to school, training them for that position, and send them out at the world against people out there that's done this professionally for years, okay? The mayor's talking about training him, sending him to, getting brand new, fresh trained to do this, okay? I am against that. I think what we need to do, and I've talked to some other people, there are folks you can go to and you can hire them, maybe on a contract basis or something, and you can give a contract with them and say, hey, if you help us get this business in here, once it gets established and all that, we're gonna pay you such amount of dollars to help us get businesses here. There are professional people out there that have done, I know he's called, there are professional people out there have done that that's what they do for their career. That's somebody we need to go get, instead of hiring somebody fresh ain't never done this before. You want me to get this? You're on the air.
Hey, big guy.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, praise the Lord and thank you, Jim Fletcher, for neutralizing all the protest people down there. And the big guy, buddy, that got sitting beside you there, neutralizing his protest stand.
Yeah, he's
A great job. We love you, man. Keep up the good work.
Okay. Thank you, buddy.
Hey, we love Big Jerry. We really do. We really appreciate the show. But, Jerry, you really got a great guy there beside you. You ought to think more like him and not against him.
Uh,
Thinking just alike would be a great team.
well, if you think just alike, you become minutia. We don't want to become minutia.
Well, man, he would be a great mentor for your political education.
Would he? We think alike about 90% of the time.
But anyway, thank both of you for your courage, your fortitude, your stick-to-itiveness, and your ability to get the crowds there and really make for a good show standing up for the real people.
And folks, where are you talking about getting the crowds there? Folks, Mr. Slusher will probably get into this. This thing ain't over yet, is it?
no, we're coming back on Monday, and
Oh, it's a thing. If anybody can give y'all any help, I hope they'll be ready to help you out. But thank both of y'all.
Thank you, buddy.
I'd like to state, we're talking about Jerry supporting the tax, and he hasn't been that strong for it. I mean, he's voiced some support for it, but he's not gonna lose any sleep over it, I know that.
No, I'm not.
But where I am on property taxes, I'm philosophically opposed to property taxes, period. Like I'm philosophically opposed to tax on food. I don't think the bare essentials that you must have to survive should be a tax placed on. If you're gonna smoke cigarettes, I have no problem. Tax the heck out of them, they're a luxury.
Tax them highly.
Tax liquor,
Tax it.
tax cars, that's a privilege.
Yeah.
But when it comes to people's homes, I don't believe in taxing them. Are they gonna be taxed? Absolutely. Because this county has gotten itself into a position now that we are a residential county. We are not an industrial county. At one time, we could say that. But we are no longer an industrial county, and the people from up north have quit coming and buying homes like they did. And as a matter of fact, from my view of the lake traffic, it is nowhere near what it has been in past years. Money's tight everywhere, even though unemployment is down. People's level of income has not bounced back to previous levels. One thing about Mayor Morton, I tried to push his button, and the button wasn't pushed. I hit reset one time, and he came out of the closet. He said, and this is the LaFollette Snooze Press, and I would like to say that for the first time, the Snooze Press has given an accurate account of a county meeting. I haven't seen that in the past, but this is the first time, in my opinion, that they've done that. But one thing they didn't do, though, they never printed any comments from the audience. They don't have to print my comments because I know I'm a dirty word to them, but there were some good, honest comments made at that meeting by citizens, and they never took the time to make note of them. But what EL said in the Snooze Press article is, I wish I could do it with $1.99. Now here's a man that has refused to date to even touch the budget. That's the county commission, I have no vote. But EL, what's your stand on it? You're not gonna throw me in that briar patch. That's been his attitude. But I'm working my way there, Morton said. I know it seems like a small thing, but we're good enough to be one of these communities that funds above the minimum level. EL, if you believe that we should fund above the minimum level, what are you going to do about people on minimum wage? Everything in this county, when it comes to money, is at the minimum. we don't even, in my opinion, get a minimum return of our tax dollars. My property taxes, and I pay my taxes. I'm not standing up for my taxes. It's for other people. But my taxes have doubled, Jerry, since 2005. You can go check it. There's a record of it. It's there. But if this budget passes, my taxes will have doubled in 10 years. My Social Security is barely above what I started on when I became 62. You know, so to make us appear, Mr. Mayor, that we're not doing our fair share with $1.99 and how big's the wheel tax?
$45?
$45 wheel tax, which translates into 22.5 cents on the property tax. If 222 isn't good enough, then what is? And you heard from people after person and a person, what did you do with the 13% you got last year? And now you want 25%? And that includes no pay raises for county employees that have not had a pay raise in 9 years?
Right.
That means a tax increase next year. If the federal government goes up on minimum wage, which they're going to, if the federal government goes up on minimum wage, we're going to have to cough up the difference because we have people that do not make very much money that are working for the county. And I don't believe in laying the employees off now. I've changed my stance on that because I've come to realize that if we do, we're going to damage the county because we are the major employer, the very thing that government is not supposed to do. We're not in the job of providing jobs as a government. That's not our purpose.
Right.
It's to provide those services that we cannot provide for ourselves.
But now, EL made a statement, started talking about the county providing jobs. He made a statement several meetings ago, I don't know if you remember this, people out there love to come to work for the county government because the benefits are so great. The benefits are tremendous. I've talked to several folks in the last few days because one of the things the county commission did Monday night was voted in a cowardly way, in my opinion, again, voted to take away the health insurance coverage for county commissioners. It passed 8-7 to take away that health insurance. They had a meeting the previous week when you didn't have 150 people sitting there fussing about it, and they didn't do that. Well, when you had all these people there Monday night, and they sat back in their cowardly way, again, my opinion, they slinked off and took that away, you know. I've talked to several people. Our county, I don't know if you realize this, Jim, I think you do. If you get a job in our county government, I guess there's a 60 or 90 day precautionary period. I don't know if they do that or not.
Typical period.
But one of the benefits that you get, and I've made this statement before, one of the benefits you get is the county pays 82% of your full family coverage of your insurance. That's about if you've got a family of 4, that's about a $16,000 benefit per year that the county pays. Folks, as far as I know, there are very few businesses in this world that provide such a thing. I work for a company that last year my company made over $150 million profit. The company I work for. It's an international company. It's not one of the largest companies in the world, but as far as overall businesses, but they make a good living, my company does. They pay for my insurance. I pay for my family's insurance. Okay?
Let me give you an example of what Jerry is talking about. He and I together last year reviewed some salaries and some benefits. We found one employee who was making what, Jerry? $16,000 or $17,000 a year.
Right.
And that person's insurance was $17,000.
More than they earned in their income.
More than they earned in income.
Yeah.
You know, I had worked my way professionally into what I'd consider a good job. I had the authority, I guess, to take family coverage free of charge as a benefit. I couldn't do it. The college couldn't afford it, because if I got it, everybody else would have had it. I have never heard, even out at Oak Ridge, if you want family coverage, you pay for it.
Right.
The only thing you get is an individual policy. And I don't know if they require them. Well, you could tell who had other insurance and who didn't, because the vote came down 8-7. And now there's every argument in the world going forward why the county should provide commissioners who only make $500 a month. It's not a salary, it's kind of a stipend. They're not employees, they are public officials. And why we should pay their insurance. Frankly, I thought it was a good move. Those that had it taken away from them don't think it was so good. Now, they put themselves in a position, if they don't want to do it, then they've increased the budget and they've raised the tax rate again, because now it's out of the budget. Is that correct, Jerry?
Well,
Yeah, it's in.
I don't know if it's actually out yet. Because
They voted it.
They voted it, but the meeting is not finished yet. So it's
Oh,
the meeting was recessed. And we're talking about legal semantics, folks, that's all. It
But
was
it
voted
has been
out.
voted
It's
out.
been voted out, so yeah. But it's not actually legal yet, my understanding, because the meeting has not ended. They recessed the meeting till next Monday night, 5:30, 6 o'clock, Jim?
yeah, now it takes, if they bring it back up, it's gonna take a super majority to reconsider, is that correct?
I don't think it will, because it's not a tax.
No, it's a decision that's been made, but to reverse a decision and to re-vote on it again in a meeting, doesn't it take a super majority?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to
I
that.
think it does.
Okay, I don't know. During the course of the same meeting?
Yeah.
Seem like we looked that up some time ago. You
Yeah,
may
on
be
the-
right on that.
On the sun god
Yeah.
solar panel.
Oh my goodness, they were the solar system again.
They never even took a vote to reconsider, they just did it.
They just did
Of
that.
course, also they installed the system.
Well, now, see, that would be one that never got, that never got a supermajority to reverse that decision.
They
'Cause it was
didn't,
voted
they didn't
down.
take a vote on it.
It was voted down. Yeah, it was.
And then they just come back and voted it
They
in.
come back and voted again.
No reconsideration there. I was there.
Yeah, but they voted on it again.
They voted on it again.
So by what you're saying, they would have needed a supermajority to
Well, they,
overcome the first vote.
that's my 2 cents worth.
Right.
Plus, I think they needed a vote to reconsider it, and there was no vote.
There was no, that thing was a whole mess. Again,
It's still-
Mr. Slusher and I are both ones that agree.
It may not
That's-
be dead yet.
That should have never happened. It just should have never happened.
Now,
So-
let me tell you something about the financial condition of the county. Rusty Orick and I, Rusty's a good guy. I mean, we have some major differences and we get red-faced, but when it comes down to it, he's a good guy. His brother and I get along better, but that's another story. Anyway, Rusty was telling me, well, the fund balance is only $2,175,000. I said, no, you're wrong, Rusty. The fund balance is $8 million. Oh, no. Well, I said, Rusty, you're wrong. So I went back and I pulled Marlowe's budget. Mayor Morton's budget. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That was published in the paper. And here's the fund balance. In the general fund, $2,175,000, just what Rusty said it was.
right.
Then you go to solid waste, $772,000, $750,000. In the ambulance service, $604,000. Industrial Economic Development, $232,000. Special purpose, $1,182,000. I hope you all are listening to this. How many have bank accounts like this? Drug control, $30,000, very minor. Highway Department has $866,000 in unallocated reserves. That's money laying in the bank earning 0.25%. And Mr. Bullock, if you're listening, you call in and correct me if I say anything wrong. I had an interview with mine today. I interviewed him.
Okay.
Then in the general debt service, we have $1,581,000. By the way, this all came as a big choking surprise to the commission. After spending 4 or 5 months reading page by page from Jeff Marlowe the budget, they didn't know this money was there. It shocked them. And then the general capital outlay fund, $117,000. And then in the capital projects fund, $430-some-thousand. It totals $8 million. I estimate it's 8.5 because Jeff is always conservative, as any good business officer is in his estimate. And I say it probably is around 8.5 million. All right, here's the rest. In addition to that, the school system has $6.486 million. That comes out to $14.5 million, almost equal to what it was last year, and they pulled $1.5 million out last year to balance the budget. They're telling you they're broke, they're not telling you the truth. I talked to Monty Bullock today. Mr. Marlowe put forth the argument, well, sometimes during the year we run low on cash, particularly when the schools aren't bringing in BEP and the property taxes have been paid and our cash balances run low. Mr. Bullock informed me today that laying in the bank right now at the low point in the year, Jerry, the low point in the fiscal year,
Right.
when they don't have a lot of cash, that there's $8.5 million in the bank. $8.5 million laying in the bank right now, cash. He's got one bond out, I think he said he was earning 1% on in a CD, earning 1% on for $1 million. The rest of it's laying there, gathering dust, really not earning any money. Maybe I said, you mean 0.25%? And he kind of laughed. He said, I wish.
Yeah.
So that money's laying there while it kind of reminds me of the story of Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France.
Little bit cake.
Yeah. And the people in the streets starving to death, begging for bread. And they went to her and they said, Queen Marie, the people are starving to death. They want bread. And she said, let them eat cake. It's kind of like the remark Marie made, as it was reported to me, about the people complaining about their car tires being punctured and everything. She said, well, buy more tires. Were you there for that?
She said, if we don't pass this budget, buy more tires.
Buy more tires.
She did say that.
Now this is a young lady that grew up hard like the rest of us, I know. And she made something of herself. But you don't go around once you get some jingle in your jeans forgetting your roots, Jerry.
Right.
I'll never forget my roots.
Yeah.
I lived in the coal mining camps too. It's no fun. With a single light bulb in the room. It's no fun, and we still have people living like that. And they're never going to claim that I supported a tax that's going to negatively impact their lives. That's serious business to me.
It is.
We have preachers that can sit there and milk the money out of poor people. I've seen it happen. Not all preachers are that way. Some have compassion, but make you feel actually guilty in knowing that those kids are going to have to do it out. It's in all walks of life. It's in religion, and it's especially in politics. They lose their sense of what it's to be like to be poor. And I hope that if I ever do that as a human being, that he takes me on out, because I've lost my roots. And when you lose your roots, you become a totally different person.
Yeah.
I know you haven't lost your roots.
No.
You lived in the public housing project, is that not correct?
When I grew up, I did.
It was rough, wasn't it?
It was rough.
Yeah.
It did. When I grew up that day, when I was a kid, we sure did.
Let me tell you one thing a little bit about economics. You know, the government, a lot of people didn't understand during the recession of why we bailed the banks out, and it galled me and it galled everybody. But you cannot allow your banks to fail. Regardless of how crooked they may have been, regardless of what they did, you can't let them fail, because when you do, your economy is gone. Now, during the Depression, they let the banks fail. There was no money. The banks failed, everybody lost their money, the whole thing went under. You know, there's innocent people wiped out. Well, they came along with the FDIC.
Right.
Now the government will not let banks fail. They keep them under tight regulation. They make them dance to the tune.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got very loose with the way they did that. The banks went hog wild, started making bad investments, loaned money to anybody. They went under. The government came along and bailed them out. They called it too big to fail.
Right.
And frankly, even though I hated it, it was true. They are too big to fail. You let your banks go under, you've had it.
We get in a situation like Greece.
Yeah, like Greece.
The whole country is going bankrupt and fail because.
Or you get in a situation like Japan, who has been in a depression for 30 years because the country is owed more by the banks than the banks are worth. And they can't pay the debt, but they keep propping them up. But anyway, one way that you can grow an economy, which is what happened, and we got an $18 trillion debt out of it, is to throw money around like a drunken sailor. And the government did. And it's kind of a little bit of Reaganomics and so forth. You spend your way out of it. We're down to 5.3% interest. Now, also when you have inflation.
Well, Jim, that sounds like you're saying we need more money for the government to spend to bring us out of it.
Well,
which side are you on?
Let me give you the convert.
Okay.
When you have inflation, the way you shrink the economy is you pull money out of it. And you do it through what, Jerry? Taxes.
Well, we're not needing to shrink the economy.
So, and it's estimated that for every dollar that you pull out of the economy through taxes, you have shrunk the economy by $3. So if they are taking $2 million additional out of your pocket, or ever what the tax increase was, then you have effectively removed $6 million out of circulation. You've shrunk the county economy because they don't have that money to spend.
And they ain't got room to shrink, does it?
It evaporates.
Well, I mean, we don't have room to shrink this economy.
If you could afford, we lost A&S Steel, and I'm sure it's going to show up in the next property assessments.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting there with an empty building and it doesn't assess like a building that's going full bore. But if here the county is going to get, say, $2 million out of it, but it's going to shrink the economy of the county by $6 million. Where are they going to get it? They're going to get it from me. Now, going back to this fund balance, if they cap it for one-time only items, not recurring, not salary or anything, it's not going to shrink the economy at all. And the fund balance will build back because no one zeroes their budget out except Mayor Morton. I think he zeroed his out after he told everybody what he had saved. He didn't save any money. He just didn't take the insurance one year. That's not saving money, it's just not spending it.
That's just not spending it. It's different from saving. So, so that meeting is coming up Monday night, folks, so you might want to show up again. Jim, I want to talk
Might
about,
want to show up. Let me tell you something. Show up. That's a directive
yeah,
for me. Please show up.
they sat down there scared to death of you
House.
once.
One thing about Mayor Morton, and he is a champion of this, he is a champion of free speech, and he will bend the rules to err on the side of free speech.
He didn't just bend them rules, he tore them all to pieces.
But you can't say anybody walked away from that meeting that wasn't heard, and if they wanted to be heard more than once, they were.
And if somebody walked away from that meeting and said they didn't get an opportunity to speak, they lied to you. Because he gave them, he gave everybody an opportunity to speak.
But do not let this county commission go 1 penny above $1.99. They got a 13.1% increase last year. That's all they need. Let them live on it. We're not getting us increase in Social Security this year, Jerry. Did you know that?
I didn't know
We
that.
got 1.7, I think, last year, and the year before that, I don't think we got anything.
Right.
We have people in this county who live on Social Security. Nothing else. They don't have anything
Now,
else.
one thing we need to do, we looked up, I think it was last week, Jim, we looked up that, and Mr. Bullock called in toward the end of the show about, when you get 65 and the income that you have, and it freezes the property you live on and 5 acres around it, it freezes that tax rate. If that income's only $28,000, it's, you know, that income, and the county commission, I checked, the county commission has the availability to petition the state legislature to raise that income. That income needs to be raised. $28,000, that income needs to be raised, probably, I'm thinking to probably 50, or something around there, that
Well, now
anybody that's,
remember, when you take it off one group, you pass it to another group.
but people 65 and older deserve that, Jim. I think they deserve
I
it.
disagree with you.
Because hopefully one of these, well, you're, you know, I'm not, Jim's already 65.
No,
Hopefully I'll make it to 65 one of these days and enjoy that benefit.
Monty, would you call in and comment on what I said? If I said anything that's contrary to what we discussed today, if I'm correct about the fund balance, because you know I get arguments at the county commission, but I've dealt with fund balances all my life. I've dealt with larger fund balances than this, and I knew that you could use that fund balance in many, many ways.
That must be your phone.
And this county is salting away money, claiming it's a rainy day fund, and there is no rainy day. Their income is guaranteed. They can't be fired.
You're on the air?
Hey, Jerry,
Yes, ma'am.
ask Jim where those 3 roads are that goes to Reed's house.
One is by her business on Toe String
Give me
Road.
your phone. Give me your phone.
One goes by Family Realty on Toe String Road, and you can see they paved some in her parking lot. The other one goes by her house on Pinecrest. The other one goes by her father's house, which I understand she owns. I don't know if she owns it or her father owns it. Maybe she can call in and clarify it. On Reed Lane. And there may be other roads that I don't know about, but those are 3 fairly recent pavings that have gone on.
Well, the Toe String Road deal didn't happen until Potter bought a piece of property and built him a new home.
Well,
She still benefited from it.
she got the benefit of it.
And then out there at Reed Lane, they just patched it. I don't think they blacktopped it.
They did go in and put blacktop in.
All of it.
I don't know. I've been told, and Gary Reed admitted it. I said, up to your house? He said, yeah, they took it up to my house. I haven't been out there. All I know is what I was told.
I haven't either, so
He did tell me that it was not pavement, but you know, there's a lot of people in this county that just like to have their potholes filled.
Yeah.
What?
And I'm not getting on the road superintendent here. I think we have a good, hard-working road superintendent who is very sincere and wants to do an excellent job. But you know, a spade is a spade.
Right.
3 roads. We've been begging in our neighborhood. I have to go out and shovel the gravels out of, after every rain out of my road where the back blacktop has spalled it off. And all we ever had was tar and gravel to begin with, and that's good enough for me anyway if we could get that. But that shows you a commissioner gets 3. I, Jim Slusher, Mr. Nobody, gets nothing.
Well, I'm just glad we got Pine Creek Road, blacktop.
Oh, I am too. I travel that road every day.
I travel it 3 or 4 times a day.
Hey, I got another call. Thank you for calling, ma'am. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, fella?
Doing good.
I just got a quick question. I want you to just be an honest, blunt answer.
Find your other information.
So how do we get rid of Jeff Marlowe? And do you think that Jeff has not been the glue to this county over the last 20 years, I guess it's been? And without Jeff, what more troubles that we would have been in without him?
We wouldn't have a solar panel issue program, I can tell you that.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, I feel you on that, okay, so, but, now, the commissioners that we have now are piss poor, without a doubt, you know.
They're cowards.
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with it?
No.
Well,
I think we have some very fine commissioners. I think we have-
absolutely don't,
Well-
I don't see no backbone in them, I don't see no business in them, with the exception of 2 down there. I know them all personally, and it ain't nothing personal jab at them, I mean, you might take to that, or they might take to that, but I just do not see where they have the experience to be running this county. But we do not have people that will run for this office, you know, in these offices. But whether people want to believe it or not, Jeff Marlowe could do well better. And people, if they don't understand that, in his job, in several of any companies, I mean, tomorrow he could go work for and make more than what he makes here, and without a doubt. And anybody that don't know that, I mean, it's stupid, because the man knows his craft and he is absolutely.
I've made the statement about Jeff Marlowe several times, that he's brilliant at what he does. And I think he probably could be the best financial director maybe in the state. The thing I'd like to see Jeff Marlowe do is do his job, stay out of the politics of it, stay out of the rest of it.
He shouldn't have to be there. He should not have to be there.
Well, he's got to answer questions to the commission if they want to know about the. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stay out of the purchasing of $21,000 backhoes. Stay out of the purchase of $1.6 million solar panel projects.
$2 million.
Should be running the show of this county like they do in other counties.
They do. If you'll read, I read a document, I looked it up about a month ago, and we were talking about, we are under the Financial Management Act of 1982. If you Google Sumner County and the Financial Management Act of 1982, Sumner County put out a study that said there's no way in the world they were going to go under that act, because if they did, the finance director would be the single most powerful person in the county, and they weren't going to do that. And I can promise you, in Campbell County, we realize the finance director is the single most powerful person in this county. He runs the whole show. It goes the way he wants it to go.
He was put here though.
That doesn't have a thing to do with it. It's what he does with it once he's got it. He's done a good job.
He's done it. He's done it.
I will
He's
never.
done a good job with the finances. There's no question about it.
Year
I question
year
that.
after year after year after year, he's done it.
If anybody,
All I tell you to do is read the audits. Read them. I've read them. Read the audits. I will never call for the termination of someone that I am not in charge of. I do not call for the termination of Mr. Marlowe. That's left up to the county commission. He serves at the pleasure of the finance committee and the county commission. They both have to work on it.
Jim, hand me that document right there. Hand me that document.
Well,
Let me make a point. Let me do
But
that.
I want to point out, Mr. Marlowe, there is no human being on earth that is God and cannot be replaced. When I left the college, everybody told me, oh, this place will never be the same. Oh, what are we going to do without you? And me thinking you're going to do quite well. Do you know that college has gone on to bigger and better things? They've done things that I never would have dreamed of. I did things that my predecessor would have never dreamed of. No man is a God.
No,
There is any competent CPA, which Mr. Marlowe is not, and I would not settle for anything less than the CPA, but any competent CPA could go in there, pick up and carry on, and he would never be missed. He
well,
will
100%
never
agree.
be missed.
I truly, in one sense, wish that he would go,
He,
and that they would.
I don't see how a man of his
Yeah,
professional
Kind
stature,
of shape it will begin then, because I mean, they can't. It's obvious they've not done nothing with it now.
bull.
So
It is baloney to think that we have to have Jeff Marlowe to operate. We do not have to have Jeff Marlowe. He does not hold the keys to the church.
so
He-
Hold on, man. Hold
He
on.
is an employee.
Let him make his point.
like I said, I hope that one sense that he does. I mean, one sense that Jeff would go on to something else just to see how much worse this place can be.
How could a person work in an environment when his boss, no, wait a minute, I'm
I
talking.
think that your mayor run on his ticket was, well, that was his job as the last job he had that we paid him for, and he never got nothing done. He claimed he run the Dollar General stores in. Woo-hoo-hoo, boy, that really set this place afire, didn't it?
He
Boy?
brought us tax dollars we didn't have.
I'll tell you one thing, I would never work in an environment where my boss, the mayor, and the county commission, and the financial services committee were against me. How in the world could you work in that environment? And that's what Jeff is probably up against.
I want to make
But
this
I
point
have
right
no
here.
bone, I have no bone to pick with Jeff Marlowe.
I do.
Don't tell me that Jeff Marlowe is critical to this county. Because I could step in there and do that job tomorrow, and there wouldn't be any ifs, ands, or buts about who was in charge, and I wouldn't be running to play Mother May I to the county commission.
You would be having to do the same thing that he's doing today.
Absolutely not.
That replacement will have to do the same thing because the commission cannot do it. Why do they not do it? Why do they not do it?
I don't know that the county commission hasn't done their job. The thing is, the county
Think
commission,
they have done their job?
I tell you one thing, I know the figures,
How long you been back here?
10 years.
Okay, it's the 10 years you've been back here, you think the commission has done their job?
They're not perfect, but I'll tell you, they are not bad people. They do what they are told.
Jeff Marlowe's feet down there for him on a daily basis.
Okay.
If he goes, like I said, no matter who replaces him, will have to do the same thing that he does.
Okay, I'm gonna make a point here. Let me have the floor for this, okay? You can hang on and listen to this point, or you can hang up. How you wanna do it?
I'm gonna hang up with you.
Thank you, okay? We've got an issue right here that a county commissioner passed out at Monday night's meeting. This is a press box construction, okay? This is a $70,000 budgeted project that never went to bid. $70,000, okay? Jeff Marlowe authorized every payment, every check, every bit of this. Jeff Marlowe's signature is on it. It never went to bid is what this commissioner told everybody Monday night. there's payments broken in. Jeff Marlowe is very famous for writing checks under $10,000. So he allegedly says it's a professional service. It doesn't have to go to bid. Construction projects, folks, have to go to bid. For whatever reason, because my understanding from the county commissioner that passed these out, this one didn't. There's a fellow on here, one person on here, that apparently worked on this project, that over whatever period of time it was, he made over $23,000. There's 4 checks broke down to make sure they're under $10,000. There's a state law, and I don't have it with me, I've had it with me before, that says it's against the law to circumvent checks just so you can keep it under $10,000. Splitting purchase orders, right. Once it goes over $10,000, it has to be bid. Here's a $70,000 deal that never was bid, okay? This kind of thing comes directly out of Jeff Marlowe's office, okay? The county commissioner that passed these out says this job was never bid. I've never even heard of it before. Have you? I didn't even know it went on. I had no idea this even happened. But the check numbers are here, okay? The person who got them, the dates the check were written. This project evidently started on 6/19. The first check was written of this year. The last check was written on 8/3/2015. So it's about a month and a half project that about $37,000 was spent. It looks like there's $33,000 left on this project. Where's that $33,000 going to end up, Jim? I don't know.
I'm going to give you an example, a parallel situation. We have a chairman of the Board of Education, a very competent person. That's Mike Orth, Rusty's brother.
You didn't have to say that, did you?
Who has more knowledge about the school system probably than the superintendent. He's one of a few. There will come a time, probably in the next election, when Mike says it's time for someone else to become chairman. They can adjust to that.
That'll be
It's
next
just
month.
like if there's a change in the finance office. They will adjust to that. Life will go on. We lost the mayor who was just beginning to get his feet on the ground. Things went on. A beat wasn't missed. We missed Jeff, but life went on. It's life. You know, and I don't know how Mr. Marlowe could work in a situation where everything is nipping at his heels.
He's being browbeat every
But
day.
that's Jeff's decision. I don't get involved
Yeah.
in those things. Personnel matters belong to the supervisors, and because they know best. One thing, please, please, please come to the county commission meeting on Monday. It starts at 5 o'clock.
That's the Financial Management Committee meeting.
Financial Management Committee
Yeah.
meeting. If you want to see what's going on in your county, be there.
Be there. We got about a minute.
Jerry,
Yes.
why didn't you ask the county commission if you were there Monday night? Why did they let them do that if that's the case?
Why did who let what?
Why did the county commission let that get by them? They're in charge.
Well, there's
They
a lot of
didn't know
things.
about it.
They didn't know about it. There's a lot of things that go through that finance office and nobody knows about until it's done.
If it's their job and not Jeff Marlowe, then why did they let him get by with it?
They didn't know it.
I have, you know,
Their job to know it.
They only know what they're informed. They are not working in the finance office.
Is that not can they not, put him in jail for it?
I can tell you this, the district attorney is looking at a lot of stuff.
Well, we won't go there. That's what's wrong with this county. We got too much corruption.
Well, the district attorney's looking, there's been a lot of information provided to the district attorney.
The second biggest murder case in Campbell County is being plea bargained. What does that tell you?
Yeah. You there? Must have lost her. So, you know, and you, Mr. Slusher, I mean, my answer to that would be, I've got children, you've got children. As they were growing up, they did things we didn't know about until they'd already done it, right?
That's
And then you
the
have,
purpose of having a finance director. He
Yeah.
runs it according to the rules laid down by the county commission.
if he runs it
State law.
properly and this kind of thing doesn't happen, you don't have this kind of issue. But when this kind of issue comes up, then you have to work on fixing it.
I doubt
We about ready, honeybee? Okay, folks, I appreciate you. Got Mr. Slusher here, Monday night.
God bless you.
We'll see you. Thank you.